Welcome to the Chelsea News Update here on Chels Daft. Thank you for joining. Plenty to feature, including Andreas Christensen, Ngolo Kante, transfer rumours regarding Romagnoli over at AC Milan, Jorginho, Ousmane Dembele, and also a look at the result last night where Chelsea pretty much secured third place in the Premier League this season, despite the fact it was woeful. All this and more coming up. Make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get cracking. First and foremost, Andreas Christensen. Now, I wanted to talk about him because Thomas Tuchel revealed before the game yesterday that it's not the first time that Andreas Christensen has pulled out of a matchday squad. FA Cup final, it was on the day of the Cup final. Physically, he was fine, and Thomas Tuchel has reiterated all the other times he's been fine physically. And it sort of leads to ask the question what the problem is with Christensen. A lot of people are saying he let Chelsea down from hero to zero, stuff like that. But we have to consider the situation. It could be that he has, maybe some mental health issues. He may have reasons why he can't play that are beyond the scope of just football. So we have to just understand that. There's a lot of people going into town on Christensen, and it could be easy to go and just react and be that way. But there's probably a lot more to it. It looks as though he's probably played his last game for Chelsea. He's probably going to miss the game at the weekend, finish up against Watford at Stamford Bridge. But let's not be too hard on the guy. He stepped in. He's been okay for us. The report is that Chelsea offered him a feeble contract, less than what his extension was, and he wasn't happy with it, which is why he's leaving. So that's on Chelsea. You can't blame Christensen for that, but it's a shame that he's going to go after what the club's invested in him over the course of time, with reports that he was on big money when he was in the academy. Anyway, Christensen, let's not judge before we know the full story. Secondly, Ngolo Kante now. Ngolo Kante has not been the same player of late. We've got to be honest with that. And he's struggled with injuries. And Thomas Tuchel even went to the point yesterday saying it's a miracle that Chelsea will finish third this season in the Premier League, bearing in mind that he's only played 40% of Chelsea's games this season. Tuchel was spoken about Ngolo Kante in great detail. When he was asked of Ngolo Kante this season, and just in general, Tuchel said this: I think he's our key player, but key players need to be on the pitch. He plays only 40% of the games, so it's maybe a miracle we arrived in third place, because he's our Mo Salah, he's our Van Dijk, he's our De Bruyne, he's simply that player. He's our Neymar, our Kylian Mbappe. He is the guy who makes the difference, and if you only have him for 40% of the games, it's a big problem. Given that percentage, it's maybe a miracle of how consistent we produce results, and puts everything into perspective. Because I saw Liverpool without Van Dijk last season, they struggled heavily, and you see the difference. So Ngolo is our key player, and he needs to be on the pitch. It's clear and obvious that Ngolo Kante has struggled with injuries. A lot of people are talking about the fact they should sell him now, Chelsea, because he is injury prone. I'm of the opinion that when Ngolo Kante is fit and he's on that pitch, there's no one else like him. There simply isn't anybody else like him. That's when he's on form. He's struggled of late because he's been in and out so often. And when he gets into a rhythm, which is what Tuchel also mentioned in his interview, he then gets injured and breaks down again. So he can't get that consistency. It's still an important asset for Chelsea for me. But I think there will be discussions at the end of the season if he's only going to be available for 40% of the games. Is that going to be a problem next season? It's going to come back to bite us if we have the same problem with Kante. Or can he get over these injury problems and get himself fit? Hopefully so. What would you do? Let me know, comment section. So we know that Andreas Christensen and Tony Rudiger are leaving Chelsea, and Azpilicueta's in discussions to either stay or leave in the summer. Chelsea are now looking at AC Milan captain Alessio Romagnoli on a free transfer, who's refused to sign a new contract to AC Milan. He's run his contract down. And with others interested, such as Barcelona and Bayern Munich looking as well, Chelsea are looking at him to replace Rudiger. The left-footed centre-back on that left-hand side of a back three would be ideal. The 27-year-old contract expires, as we said, and Chelsea are targeting Romagnoli. What do you guys think? I think he'll be an excellent addition if we can get the deal done on a free. But once again, when will those sanctions be over? We know there's a deal being agreed between the UK government and Abramovich. The sale should go through by the end of this month. Let's just hope it's all done and dusted so we can start signing players and bolster our squad, because boy do we need it. Romagnoli would be an ideal signing, a perfect signing on a free. Let's see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get him. What do you guys think? Let me know, comment section. More transfer news now, and Jorginho is a target for Juventus. They're targeting big moves this summer. Paul Pogba, one of them, close to a deal to return to Juventus, and Jorginho is the other. The Juventus chiefs are in London already to discuss a deal with Chelsea, with reports that personal terms of a move have already been agreed, with Jorginho looking to leave now, keen to leave Chelsea and go back to Italy, and I'd expect this deal to be done. Jorginho is one of those, he's a bit like Marmite, let's be honest, with Chelsea fans. Some Chelsea fans can't stand him, or not him, but the way that he plays, because he slows things down and goes side to side. But you saw last night in a game when teams set up defensively against us, we got no option up front because the movement up front isn't good enough. What else can you do? You can only go sideways or backwards. Jorginho's use of the ball and his ball control is outstanding, second to none. The problem for Jorginho, in my eyes, is that he doesn't get into the first team when everybody's fit. The midfield too is Kante and Kovacic without question. When everyone's fit and firing, Jorginho's on the bench. And I think he understands that, and I think that's possibly why he'll probably go this summer. Because, again, with the role evolving into becoming a much more dynamic position, Ruben Loftus-Cheek has already showed signs and qualities that he can perform in that role. Maybe with Conor Gallagher coming in to be the 4 next season, if we can keep Kante fit. Kante, Kovacic, Loftus-Cheek and Gallagher, Jorginho's nowhere. Let's see what happens. Another possible free transfer signing for Chelsea could be Ousmane Dembele, who is a target for Chelsea this summer. As we know, he's not going to sign a new deal, and the Barcelona president was fuming about it, but had to come to terms with it, and Dembele is available, and there will be a whole host of European clubs looking to sign him. The only stumbling block could potentially be his wages. He's on a reported £36.3 million contract at the Camp Nou, Barcelona, which also includes a £4.2 million bonus for winning the Champions League and a £1.6 million bonus every time they win the league. Extortionate money, outstanding negotiation for Barcelona to agree. And with deals like that, you wonder why Barcelona had their money problems. Anyway, he has worked with Thomas Tuchel before at Borussia Dortmund, which might be something that goes in our favour. But if Chelsea are looking to try and sign him on a free, he's going to want big money, big wages, and I wonder if Chelsea will be prepared to do that. Let's see what happens, but we're being linked with Ousmane Dembele as well as Alessio Romagnoli. So let's talk about the game last night. Chelsea settled with a 1-1 draw against Leicester, and my God, it was woeful. It was so poor. Leicester just turned up. Bearing in mind the talent they've got on the pitch, in Vardy, they've got through midfield, they've got Maddison, they've got Harvey Barnes, who's left on the bench. They're a good attacking team. And when they're in full flow, Leicester, they're a difficult side to play against and to beat, as we all know. The problem is they turned up to Stamford Bridge last night with such a defensive mentality, with everybody behind the ball, 5-3-2 formation, trying to stifle Chelsea, and they did exactly that. They had one shot in the first half and scored from it, a great finish to be fair, from James Maddison. Chelsea defensively for their goal was shocking, let's be honest. Anyway, the game just sort of petered out. You can tell the players are just wanting the season to be over now. They're just playing out, just going through the motions. And once again last night, we saw a performance from Tony Rudiger, which I'm not going to miss at Chelsea. Yes, he's going to go, and there's a big furor about it. He's going to Real Madrid, and people are saying we're going to miss out on him. Yes, for the most part, Rudiger's been outstanding under Thomas Tuchel, playing with the stability of a back three. Can't play as a two, he's too erratic. Anyway, last night for me was a perfect example of Tony Rudiger that I'm not going to miss. He was more interested in having a bit of a battle with Iheanacho, just biting at each other, pulling each other, just getting into his head, and that's all Rudiger was interested in. That seemed to be the motivation, just to wind up Iheanacho most of the game. And then we saw the Rudiger lunge. He does this tackle where he just takes off. Yes, he's nowhere near the player, and he's not going to make contact with the player, but he just launches himself off the floor, two-footed, and with his legs stuck out and goes in to win the ball. And then he complains about being booked. You can't do that. And he's going to get himself in a lot of trouble in La Liga. He's going to talk himself into battles because he always wants to ruck with people when there's an argument on the pitch. He wants to get involved. Rudiger's got to settle himself down in La Liga because he'll find himself sent off. Look at how many times Ramos was sent off in his career. Rudiger's going to give him a run for his money if he continues. Anyway, as for Chelsea, one thing was clear. Christian Pulisic is struggling big time for form. There's reports that he's not happy with Thomas Tuchel being in and out the squad. He missed a sitter in the cup final, and yesterday was an absolute shocker, one of the worst misses I've seen. Great ball from Lukaku, who didn't do much, let's be honest, across the box. All he had to do was slot it home, missed the ball completely, and he really is struggling, Christian Pulisic, and I wonder if he's going to want to go in the summer. I'm not so sure if he's going to want to stay, but it's clear he is struggling, Christian Pulisic. I've spoken about Kante struggling, not being quite at the same level at the moment. Lukaku, when he plays like he does, he makes it so easy for the defenders to just mark him because he's constantly playing in front of them and dropping off. We needed something different, and when Kai Havertz come on, wanting to run in between the lines and beyond defenders, it gave us another example of what we want Lukaku to be doing. And it opened things up a bit. It was a pain, Havertz, when he come on. Okay, he couldn't really influence the game much, but there was opportunity where he went to strike it and he just tapped it with his standing foot away from his left foot, and he had a left foot swinger into just free air. But his movement was great, Kai Havertz, when he comes on. Lively, just constantly moving, where Lukaku's too static. So it was just a ridiculous game, really. It was a boring game to watch because Leicester just wanted to sit and defend the whole time. Some good performances. Hakim Ziyech, good to see him in and getting involved. But it was a great goal, to be fair. Reece James's cross for his little chip, dink ball to the back post, and Alonso's finish was the highlight. That one move was the highlight of the whole game for us. So we're going to play out against Watford. We've achieved, I mean, we should be third in the Premier League, let's be honest. We're 3 points above Tottenham. We've got an 18-goal swing, so we need to lose like 9-0 against Watford and Spurs to beat Norwich 10-0 for them to finish above us. It's not going to happen. So Chelsea have pretty much guaranteed third place now, which is good, which is the positive. But last night was woeful. There's been too many games this season where performances have been just exactly that. Woeful, and it's cost us. What do you think about the game, people? Let me know in the comment section. That's it from me. Chelsea news update here on the channel. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Just straight to the point with these particular articles. No fancy studio and make-believe virtual nonsense. Chelsea behind me, Chelsea in front of you. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, drop a like on the video for me. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.